Good morning, everybody. Brother Ed coming to you once again from Louisville, Kentucky, and this is news you can use. Listen up, folks. I don't know about you, how you grew up, but when I was very young, my parents moved us from the city where we had a nice home with all of what everybody else tends to have: electricity, plumbing, nice place. I remember it vividly. It was a really nice house. Didn't care for the neighbors much, but I didn't like the neighbors that we wound up having in the country either. At any rate, they moved us into a place that had literally been used for a barn before we moved into it. We had to shovel a lot of animal feces out of off the floors before we could even move in. We're living in tents pretty much and cooking outside for a couple of weeks. And when we did move in, don't ask me why. My parents claimed they were going to do things with the house that they never did ever do. They took the walls out, it was just a big mess. And of course, there was no insulation, so in this wintertime, there was very little heat, even though we had wood burning stoves. It was incredibly cold. And we had no plumbing. None. We had an outhouse and a well. That was what we had. It was rough, let me tell you. The poorest of the poor in this country have it better than I did when I was a kid growing up. They've got electricity, they've got running water, and they don't have to really pay for much of anything because a lot of people, and I'm not talking about any one specific group because I used to be one of them, but a lot of people don't have to pay any rent. They don't have to pay for their own food. They don't have to. If they can manage to figure out how to pay for their utilities, they got to do that. But most people should be able to do that whether they got a job or not, if they got a family. At any rate, these people are spoiled. They don't know how good they got it compared to what I dealt with. And we weren't the only family in the community that I lived in that were dealing with this kind of thing, living this way. There were others, but Janet Yellen says that inflation and lower standard of living is a good thing, and that Americans must just learn to get by with less. Well, I got news for you. These people who are already feeling like they're so disadvantaged, they're going to become volatile, and they're going to become violent if they have to get by with very much less than what they've got when they don't even realize how much they've got. Increased temps and mega drought causes greater impact on farmers and ranchers in the southwestern and northwestern states. As if they haven't seen enough. More than enough. California dams become too low to create power. What do you think's going to happen with that? Many mall operators are filing for bankruptcy, as so far at least 102 malls throughout the country are being affected. Sick of hearing about obviously bogus hacks and ransomware? Well, guess what? So am I. So am I. It's not a coincidence that the current administration made it very clear that they were going to eliminate meat production, as pretty much eliminate, and they've been talking about it since they've been in office as well. Not to mention the campaigning and what they've been saying since they've been in office about getting combustible engines off the road and not using any more fossil fuels. Do you really think that these things have been hacks? Please. I spoke to a Navy seaman yesterday, and he told me that his last deployment actually ran out of food for several days because there were no supply ships around anywhere to restock the vessel he was living in. Think about it, folks. If the United States military can't even keep their people supplied with what they need, what do you think that the government is going to be able to do for you when all this comes to a head? Think about that. Till next time, do what you can. Get ready, because we got way more than a bumpy ride coming. Pray for divine intervention. That's all I can say. Pray for divine intervention and get as well prepped as you can while you still got the chance so you can get what you need. Till next time, Brother Ed, signing out with love.